Good afternoon, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We've got a St. Patrick's Day update on Ram's health today that he wanted to send out to everyone. And so in honor of that, he's using a green screen background, and
Yes.
we'll see how that goes today. But I'm going to turn it over to Ram, and it's good to see you, and let
Yeah.
us know what's happening.
Good to see you too, John, and thank you so much for doing this again. Just want to kind of keep people updated. When I began this health journey, I said we're going to walk this journey together and we're going to pray for each other. And as I'm talking about me, remember to pray for others who are going through exactly what I'm going through. And Kathy Wetzel, of course, is one of those, and there's probably others that people know too who are going through this. So I finally did get to have chemo last week. I was a week behind because of platelets being low. And again, if I share too much info, I'm just going to say I'm sorry, but I want to make sure people know exactly how to pray for me too. But I did get to have chemo last week. And for anybody who's wanting to know more, they told me, well, whatever side effects you had the first chemo, which were very mild, by the way, that you would have those similar side effects for the second. And I'm here to tell you it hasn't been anything like the first, absolutely nothing like the first. So you never can tell. This time I have not had the back pain like I had the first time. I've had a little bit of tingling in my hands and feet, which is one of the side effects, kind of like little electricity bolts going through you. But other than that, the main side effect that I've had from the chemo from last week, and last week was a really rough week, was the nausea that goes with chemo a lot of times. And so they sent you home with meds. They did not give me enough meds at the place, and yours truly didn't have sense enough to say something because they were so busy that day. And I had a chair where I could watch the nurses station, and bless their hearts, they were just hopping. I mean, I don't think any of them got to take lunch on that day. They were so busy and they were full up and all this, and I just didn't feel like bothering anybody, and so I didn't. But they chewed me out at the end of the day when they found out I sat there for 2 hours nauseous. So they said next time they'll give me more meds. That's possible. And then I have meds when I come home, and so I started taking that. And this was totally different. I took 2 pills the first time around, but I started taking the 8-hour pill when I got home a week ago Tuesday, a week ago yesterday. Yeah. And I didn't stop taking it till probably Monday morning. That's how long the nausea lasted this time. So it was a bit rough, but and then they say some of these things get worse as you go through it. So I'm trying to wrap up some work things this week, items at the church that I'm needing to get done. And John, as you well know, because we've been meeting as a leadership team to talk about all these things, and you guys are picking up the ball for a few weeks. And Mary Balson, my friend, who is a licensed local pastor, is going to be our pastoral coverage for these 6 weeks or so. And Jessica, I believe, has already, or Kathy, has distributed that to the leadership in the staff parish. And we will be distributing that information to the congregation as well, so that the congregation will always have someone to call. It just won't be me for the next few weeks. I've got to get through these last 2 treatments and really give my body time to rest and so forth like it needs. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. But I'm as my boss said, I had a long talk with my district superintendent this week, and she said, Ram, you've got to look at it this way. You're going to be doing a different kind of ministry for the next few weeks. And it is. It's going to be a ministry of caring for my body, and it's going to be a ministry of prayer. John, I'm not going to be doing the church work for a few weeks here and kind of back off of that a little bit as you guys pick up a few things. I am going to be spending a lot more time in prayer, and that I can promise you. And I've actually decided to take the church directory and walk through it and pray for, A through C on this day, and then, so forth. But I'm going to be praying for this congregation, because I believe that God is not only doing a work in my life, but I believe God is doing a work in the life of this congregation as I go through these health issues as your pastor. And so I'm excited to see what comes out on the other end and what God, has in store for us and so forth. But so in particular, as I go through these last couple of rounds of chemo, and then a few weeks after that, or a couple of weeks after that, hopefully have some more scans and find out what's going and how I'm reacting to the chemo. Then we can make plans from there. Just pray again Even though they're treating me for stage 4, they don't know for sure if what's going on in my liver is cancer. So pray that that is not cancerous, and pray that the cancer that's in the pancreas is shrinking. And I think that's just that simple. That's how to pray. And then pray for the doctors at both Froedtert and here at Agnesian to have God's wisdom on what to do with me next. I'm really trusting them, and I feel good about the medical team. But everybody's prayers is much appreciated too. And then if I could ask for one more prayer, John, and that is for my caretaker. I would just like to ask for extra prayers for Jane. I never realized, and I've heard from some who've been through this with their spouse, and they or a close friend or a parent or whatever, and they've also told me how difficult that is. And Jane's a tough one, I'll tell you that much. She's, as my father-in-law would say, she's one to ride the river with. So, anyway, she'll be embarrassed that I said that, I think. But she's a good one. But like all of us, she gets tired too, and maybe a little discouraged some days. And we're both, everybody, when you go through this, you ask why me? Or as she approached me, why do you have to go through this? Well, only God knows that, but we're trusting God for every day. So that's about it, John. And I appreciate the time to share this.
Okay, well, I want to make sure that you know how much everyone appreciates that you're doing these updates. I think that's part of that different type of ministry that your doctors were talking about, and it helps us to know how to pray for you, and it also just is so uplifting just to see you on the screen, and so hopefully those prayers will be magnified because of what you're doing with these. So, and we'll look forward to as you feel able to keep everybody as updated as possible. So in the meantime, we will be praying for both you and Jane.
Even during this time of rest, John, you and I will stay in touch, and
Right.
I'll do these as often as I feel like I can.
Right. And
All right.
yep,
Thank
you
you.
have a good day. That's the time to take advantage of it. So, all right. Thank you. And again,
God
prayers
bless.
for you, and good luck one day at a time. Right.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.